Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with Morning Express. Right now, we shift focus to the county of Nairobi, which recently launched the county-wide disaster management feeding program as one of the intervention measures to COVID-19 pandemic that is currently ravaging the world. Now, the county has set up an internal technical team within the disaster management department who are tasked with carrying out an elaborate job of mapping the most vulnerable in the society, as well as carrying out a needs assessment of these most vulnerable members of the community within the 17 sub-counties and the number of households mostly affected in the county. Now, the county identified roughly 127,500 vulnerable households that are in need of support, and we'll definitely take a look at this. Just listen in.
Ametuletea chakula ambayo itatujenga kuendelea na hata blanketi ya kujifunika. Tumefurahia sana gavana wetu na tunakuombea ufikishe miaka kama yetu.
Tunashukuru sana. Mimi ni mzee niko na miaka 88 hivi. Na kwa hivyo sasa mimi na hiyo miaka ninafurahi na hiyo chakula. Hata wale tunaye wana hiyo miaka hata zaidi ya hiyo. Na tunafurahia gavana kabisa.
Today I've launched the first truck of food at Komarok, Kibera for Tanyao slums. And we have food like we're giving maize flour, wheat flour, we have sanitary towels for our women, we have sugar, we have oil, we have basins, we have blankets. And we are hoping that this will go a long way in supporting the less fortunate. We are also appealing to the people of Nairobi, especially in the private sector, even the national government, which we are working closely with, to come and partner with us so that we are able to feed people adequately in Nairobi.
Well, it's definitely a good and ambitious project. And to speak more on this, I'm joined by the Acting County Secretary, who's Dr. Jairus Musumba. Many thanks for your time. And I must say, commendable job right there, because, I mean, the lockdown in Nairobi County has definitely exacerbated the issues that these vulnerable families are facing. Now, let's start with the feeding program. 17 counties within 17 sub-counties within Nairobi with a huge population. How elaborate was the mapping for these vulnerable members of the community done, and what exactly are you targeting in terms of the vulnerable community?
Thank you very much, Jess. This program was started by the governor, as we've seen her elaborating. When Nairobi was locked down, the region was locked down, you know, we take the most number of vulnerable groups in this country. Many people do not know that Nairobi has the largest number of vulnerable people. So when the governor saw that we had so many people who are having problems, we partnered with the national government for purposes of getting the numbers of the vulnerable groups. So the national government, Kenya Red Cross, and us, the county government, went out there and did a survey whereby we found out that we have so many people, the numbers that you've mentioned, but because we are unable, we are not possibly able to take care of all these people. That's why we have decided to take a smaller number. But as the governor said, we are appealing to all the stakeholders, all the people who would want to come and help us in this noble cause. We want to go to all the wards, all the 85 wards, to make sure that the very vulnerable, the people who cannot be able to get food, if we do not give them, they are able at least to get some food to survive.
Okay, I'd like specifics, if you don't mind. How many households are set to benefit from this particular program? And even as you give us that, the progress so far, because it was launched like a couple of days ago, 2 days ago, if I'm not wrong. What progress has been done so far with this food program?
Thank you. As you had mentioned, we had identified 127,500 vulnerable households.
Okay.
But we are starting with 25,500 of these households. But as I said, we would appeal to whomever is able to come and help us so that we can be able to cover as many people as possible. At the moment, we have been able to do, I think up to now, we have been able to do about 30 of the wards, because we are taking direct to the wards. Okay. We are dealing with the ward, with the MCS, the ward representatives. Okay. So our team goes to the ward, but now because the ward representatives understand the area better than us, and we don't want people to come and congregate because of the health protocols. So what we are doing, we are taking this food to the households themselves. So we are taking them to the people themselves. They don't come to us, we take them to them.
Okay, well, there's efficiency in that, definitely. Perhaps there are plans to extend this subsidy program past the 3 months, or is that dependent on other stakeholders coming on board?
Actually, we have already written to many stakeholders to come and help us in this process. Okay. One of them, which were being the National Ministry of Devolution and ASAL. And actually, they have already promised that they are going to support this program. And as I've said, we are still appealing, whoever is out there and listening to me, our people have a problem. Please come and help us. We would want them at least to be able to counter this problem.
Okay, that's well noted and quite commendable, actually, the county government going out of its way to actually help these vulnerable families. Let's shift focus quite a bit. Staff of the Nairobi City County Government are instrumental in the executive's execution of its mandate. In the past, I mean, we've seen county government workers actually engage in pay parades due to gross violation of workers' rights in one way or the other, if it's delayed salaries and the likes. Hence my question, how's the working relationship right now with the county government workers?
Thank you very much, Jesse. For any organization to prosper, the people who work with that organization, that is the main capital for that organization. And we take our staff very seriously. And when the governor came in, actually the first thing she did was to call the union. That is before, but when she called the union, they told her that they were going for an election. So she told them that after the election, they must come and pay a courtesy call to her. And actually, I believe last week, on Friday, they came and paid a courtesy call to her. But then from subsequent to that meeting, she said we have two branches of the union in Nairobi. So it is one branch that came the other time. Okay. So she told them, no, I need to see both of you, both unions together. And I think yesterday we held a meeting with them purposely to make sure that we have a harmonious working relationship with our workers, because if we do not have workers who are well taken care of, then we are unlikely to be able to deliver on our mandate.
Okay. Speaking of workers being well taken care of, the workers' lobby just recently accused the Nairobi local government of failure to pay insurance premiums for the Nairobi County workers, and the lack of a medical cover, well, we well know, might force them to pay cash, which is quite a challenge, especially during these times. Talk to us about this. Has the impasse been solved between the county government and the health insurer?
Yes, it has been solved. Actually, we have paid, but you understand the economic situation we are going through, and sometimes we are unable to pay the money in one tranche. Okay. So we keep paying as we get money, and it is true for a period we did not have the money to pay, but eventually we have paid, and the insurance is back. So our people now can be able to enjoy services as they would want them to enjoy.
Okay, well, symbiosis between these two institutions is quite important. Perhaps let's shift focus. Let's talk about the collaboration NMS is pulling in order to ensure efficient service delivery, among them being the working relationship with Kenya Revenue Authority. What's the progress of digitizing the systems, perhaps, in regards to the valuation role, as you give us more on the working relationship?
Thank you. Actually, when the new administration came in, they decided on a number of things for purposes of us delivering on our mandate, and one of them is collaboration with the relevant stakeholders, who include our partners, that is NMS and KRA. We must work with NMS and KRA. But apart from that, let me talk a little bit on our working relationship with NMS for us to get the background.
Okay.
So when we came in, the governor and the DG sat us down, and we decided that we must work together. And out of this meeting, we formed committees that will be coordinating issues related to the three of us, because actually we are one. We usually say we are three in one, because we cannot be separated. So the four committees that were formed constitute both NMS, both sides, NMS and us, and KRA, which is an affiliate, almost an affiliate of NMS. So the three of us work together for purposes of making sure that we deliver on a mandate, because we find that most of our mandates that we've been given, they are together. We cannot work on one mandate without having to work with the other group. Unlike before, when we had issues, now I believe we have a harmonious working relationship. So these committees have been meeting. We have an operational committee, then we have a second tier committee, then the last, which involves the governor and the director general.
Okay.
So the issues that are unable to be solved at the operational level committee are brought to the second tier committee for purposes of making sure that that is resolved. But if there are any issues that cannot be resolved at that level, then they are taken up to the DG and the governor's level. So that is how we've been doing it. And out of these meetings, one of the committees is dealing with ICT. So out of out of this collaboration, we have been able to look at City Hall. We have actually a data center. We have a very big data center that can actually serve the whole 47 counties in this country. And it hasn't been in use for one reason or the other. So with this collaboration, we have been able to assess this data center for purposes of improving it and bringing in what we are calling an ICRM, integrated management systems, where we can be using IT to get our rates from our people, our clients. So eventually, we believe when this is done, we are going to be, our people will not be going to City Hall or to our payment center. They'll be able to pay from wherever they are to make their lives easy. We don't want to have people coming, wasting their time coming to City Hall.
So when do you envision this to be done in terms of the digitization process?
If it were possible, this should have been done yesterday, but hopefully the processes, because we have contracts that have to be signed and such, so we would want it to be done as quick as possible. I wouldn't give the timelines because of the processes, but we would want it to be done as quick as possible.
So it's work in progress?
It is work in progress.
Okay,
yes.
Now just last month we saw a memorandum of understanding signed publicly to facilitate the construction of an ultra-modern sports center in Ruai, Nairobi, which falls under Kasarani constituency. Now, county government was set to provide land, and NOC actually come through with the sourcing of funds. Talk to us about this infrastructural project, perhaps the targeted benefits and what the county government is doing to ensure its completion.
Thank you. I must start by saying that apart from having the vision that the vision that we have as a county, that is a place of choice to live, work, and live. The governor has restricted to come to this side of. She would want to be her vision to be women and youth friendly.
Okay.
And that is the reason why most of what she's doing is tweaked towards this group of our population. So out of this, we engaged NOC, National Olympic Committee, so that they can help us build a stadium in Ruai. And I must thank the area MCA, Mr. Kamangu, for having worked very hard for us to be able to get the title deed for the land. Okay. So after getting that title deed, now NOC was assured that they can be able to bring money that will help us build this stadium. And this stadium mainly is supposed to serve that area of Nairobi, the eastland side of Nairobi. So the stadium will be a very huge stadium in that area, and there's no other facility in that area. There's no such facility in that area. So hopefully we wanted to serve people as far as Kayole, Embakasi, and the other side of Kasarani. So we believe when this is done, the youth in that area will find a place now to do these activities. Okay,
I'd like to implore on the timelines you've put in place, because with respect, we definitely know of promises that might not be delivered, especially when it comes to stadia, perhaps. So talk to us about the timelines that have been put in place. When do you expect this project to be complete, and when can the youth actually benefit from this ambitious project?
Actually, because the national government is also involved in this, and from the discussions that we've had between us, National Olympic Committee and the International Olympic Committee, actually we wanted the president to come and open this stadium. So our intention is to do this before the president retires. We would have wanted the president to be the one to come and open this stadium for us. Okay, well, that's not too many months away. We surely hope for its completion, because it's quite beneficial in terms of engagement of these young minds. Perhaps onto something that is close to the hearts of small-scale traders in Nairobi, the refurbishment process of markets within the county. What percentage of this ambitious project is actually complete, and how much has the county spent so far? The markets is a very ambitious program, and I should have told you from the beginning that, and I think I did, I said that we are working with our collaborators. We know that as a county alone, there are things that we cannot be able to do. And the national government, Nairobi without the national government, it cannot be able to deliver on its mandate. And we must thank the national government for what they've been able to do for Nairobi. Actually, I must take this opportunity to thank His Excellency the President for what he has been able to do for Nairobi. Without his personal intention, taking it personally, we wouldn't have been able to do what we have been able to do within Nairobi. Actually, we have been able to do what has not been able to do since this country got independence. So the market that we have done, actually the money, most of the money has come from the national government and from international donors through the national government, the Ministry of Housing. So if I were just to talk about a few of the markets that I've been able to do, I'll give just a few of them, because we are renovating almost all the markets in Nairobi, the old markets in Nairobi. But we have been also able to build new markets, and renovate markets that had taken too long to be renovated. So I'll start with the Karandini market. Karandini market cost us 342 million. We have a Mariro market that cost us 431 million. We have a Westlands market that cost 700 million. Then I should also tell you the number of stalls we have in these markets. Karandini, we have a capacity of 400 stalls. Mariro, we have a capacity of 500 stalls. And Westlands, we have a capacity of 4,000 stalls. We have also City Park market that has been, that had fire had destroyed, which has already been done. About 90% has already been done. With the help of the Ministry of Housing, They're the ones who have helped us do that. Then we have the new Gikomba market. I don't have the details here, but I think it cost about, Gikomba market should have cost about almost $1 billion shillings.
In terms of refurbishment?
No, Gikomba market is a new market. It's a wholly new market. A 6-story market with an auditorium, an architecting center, and it has taken, it was actually, this one also was out of His Excellency, the President's initiative after the fire that gutted Gikomba. So he came in and he said that a market must be constructed for our people in Gikomba. And actually, yesterday, the market was handed over to the county government. And these people have already been settled to this market.
Well, it seems quite beneficial to the traders, especially in terms of the numbers that will benefit from the projects. We'll definitely delve deeper in terms of the refurbishment process as well. But those are just the markets the NMS, through the cooperation of the national government, has actually been able to put up. Let's talk briefly about industrial parks in Nairobi. The idea behind the development of this, and perhaps the main goal, the main focus in terms of this ambitious project. Well, what's your take on this?
Yeah, of course, when you walk around Nairobi, you see many of our people along the roadsides, those people, the carpenters, the juakali, artisans. Out of this collaboration, we have intention of coming up with industrial parks. We don't want our people to remain juakali forever. We want our people to also come to a level where now we can also be able to export what we produce. So it is the intention of this government, in collaboration with all the stakeholders, that we come up with industrial parks. And one such industrial park that we are already looking at is at Jamhuri Park. We are already in talks with Jamhuri, the ASK, for purposes of constructing an industrial park at Jamhuri Park. So our intention actually is to, our trade department, its intention is to make sure that the SMEs grow. They grow into big factories that can be able to export our products.
Okay, that's definitely the goal right there. And perhaps just bouncing off from what the acting governor mentioned, so much emphasis has been put in the youth and women development within Nairobi County. Perhaps highlight some of the key areas that seem to be the main area of focus for this administration going forward in terms of elevating the position of youth and women in society. Briefly, sir.
Thank you. You know, actually, legally, we are supposed to give youth and women 30% of all our contracts. Yeah. I know most counties might not be doing this, but the County of Nairobi has deliberately made sure that when we give our contracts, we make sure that women and youth get their 30%. But apart from that, we also make sure that, we've been talking about markets. When we do the markets, we do the markets with these people in mind. I'll give you an example of the markets that we have done. We have made sure that they have lactating centers, so that our mothers are not, they don't come to the market just because they have children. We have areas where they can come and breastfeed their children. But apart from that, we have also made a deliberate decision that when we are giving out the stalls, we make sure that, actually you'll find that we have more women in these stores than men. So it is a deliberate move. But I must say this is a collaboration between us and the national government.
Okay, so how exactly is the distribution of stalls done for those who might not be in the know? And is there any emphasis given to the women, to the youth? How do you categorize this?
Actually, the giving out of the stalls is done at the regional commissioner's office, but it is a committee that involves all the stakeholders, including the markets that had been there before. The committees within every market as a management committee. So these management committees are part of the committee that allocates these tolls. So I'll give example of Gikomba and Westlands.
Okay.
Gikomba and Westlands were markets that were there before, but Gikomba was raised down, and Westlands we destroyed it for purposes of building again.
All right.
So the first thing we do is we bring in all the people who were there before. We make sure that they are settled. Then the remaining slots are given by balloting. We make sure that they ballot.
Okay.
But specifically, the 30% balloting for women and youth, then the other is given to the rest.
So there's transparency in the process. That's what I was trying to find out.
I believe there's transparency in this, yes.
Okay. As we conclude, sir, there's something we failed to mention. I mean, the vulnerable groups in Nairobi County might be in need of the vaccine during a time when there's a shortage the world over. So is there any emphasis put on perhaps the elderly, the vulnerable in Nairobi County to actually get this vaccine? What is the county government doing to facilitate this?
Actually, in collaboration with NMS, who are our partners, we have made arrangements whereby when we take the food stuff that we take to our people, we make sure that the vulnerable groups are also vaccinated at that time. I'll give an example of when we went to Kayole, we made sure that we had made arrangements so that our people went to Mama Lucy Hospital first to be vaccinated. Then when they come home, they are given food. So we have arrangement with the Ministry of Health within the county for purposes of making sure that these people are vaccinated.
Okay, that's well noted. Many thanks, sir. Just joined here by the Acting County Secretary, Dr. Jairus Musumba, highlighting some of the developments the county government is doing in terms of facilitating the vulnerable in society. Commendable job starting the feeding program that is targeting multiple households in the county, one way or the other. And not just that, the ambitious projects in collaboration with the national government as well. We appreciate your input, Daktari. Thank you for making time.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Even as we talk about that, allow us to take a look at different developing stories. This time round, it's centered on the cremation craze. The rite of passage to the afterlife is something many families often have to contend with when their loved ones pass away. But what is the best way of transitioning the dead to the next life? Now, KTN News' Timothy Otieno explores one method that seems to be slowly gaining traction, yet remains enigmatic, especially with the African culture. We would like to caution you that some of the images you're about to see may be disturbing.